Good day everyone. By the way, my name is Javelin Ibahay Sugabo from English 2A, and for this video, I will be recording my report, which is what will go into a student's grade. But before we proceed, let me read first our learning objectives. At the end of this lesson, students should be able to understand the importance of grade in their learning processes, and as well as the impacts of having high remarks and poor remarks in their performances. Value norm reference and criterion reference in grading system, and investigate the 4 essential questions provided by Vinetsky. What will go into a student's grade? The grading system an instructor selects will reflect to his or her educational philosophy. There are no right or wrong system, only systems which accomplish different objectives. As we all know that each of our instructor has different ways in grading, but they select which system to use. And that would reflect to their educational philosophy as a teacher. That's why there is no right or wrong system, only system which accomplish different objectives. According to Marinella Vinsky, 2007, Center of Teaching Effective at University of Texas at Austin, possess 4 intriguing questions. These questions are, should grades reflect absolute achievement level or achievement relative to others in the same class? Number 2, should grades reflect achievement only or non-academic components such as attitude, speed, and diligence? And number 3 is, should grades report status achieved or amount of growth? And the number 4 question is, how can several grades on diverse skills combine to give a single mark? And that questions will be discussed this morning. Okay, we will start discussing the first question, which is, should grades reflect absolute achievement level or achievement relative to others in the same class? Okay, talking about this question is very often controversy between norm reference and criterion reference grading system, because this system or this grading kay mao jud ni siya ang mostly ginagamit school and other nga mga sukudanan when it comes to grades. Okay, what is norm reference? So, norm reference is the measurements that help social work educators determine which students achieve the highest when compared to other students. When we say a criterion reference, it is the measurement helps social work educators to determine whether the students achieve the levels that we expect from them. Okay, talking about norm reference grading, if we reflect grades into a norm reference, a certain percentage of those top A receive A+, now which means the highest grade and followed by B and so on. That's why other person can easily identify just by looking at the report card. Like, ma-identify na nila na, this student is kanang bright, first ni siya sa ilang room. And this student is second. Okay, napa may mas first ani sa iya. Like, they will directly identify through this kind of grading system. The best example here is at the end of the school year, the teacher will identify kinsa tong first, second, and third student and so on, followed by other nga mga rewardees. So this grading system, this is the example of this norm reference grading system, because the grades of the students will be compared to other students, and that will be that in that way the teacher can identify kinsa ang mas best sa ilaha. Diba? That is a norm reference grading system. Using norm reference grading system is good, it's nice, but there are problems and circumstances beyond control by the students, which has a big effect to the students, dako nga apektado sa ilang grades. And one of that is the poor teaching. If the teacher is dili kayo kamo mutudlo or walay plano mutudlo or pinubusra mutudlo, that will affect the student's grade. Bad test, unexpected problems arising, diba? Like, daghan nga reason nga na magamay ang grade sa student na because we are not expecting problems that arise, diba? So, ilang standing in class will still the same, diba? Like, kinsa ang first, kinsa ang second, kinsa ang third, but all of them will be affected by this problem na if ma-experience or ma-encounter nila. Now, if you are asking if nganong same lang yapon lang standing in class, even though nga nanay mga problems na naapektuhan nilang mga grado, it's because mostly mangyud no mga bright kid ang makatubag or makahatag og information pag abot sa klase, di ba? Comparing to those students na gamay ra kaayo ang nakatun-an. Nung maliban na lang if the teacher or the instructors will provided a lot of information sa ilaha. Now, the other system is a criterion system, no? Ang kaning criterion system is way pili, no? As long as nakamit ka sa given objectives, standards, diba? You can achieve a highest grade, no? Bisag daghan pa mo sa inyuhang classroom, you can have a 100% or 99% grade as long as naka-follow lang ka sa objectives and standards nga agi pa hatag sa imuhang teachers. Now, ang best example ani is if naghatag kog activity, no, like sa inyuha, no, and individual ba na siya or a group activity, no, and all of you is naka-follow sa akong given objectives and the standards. So, I will be going to give you a flat 1 or a 19 or a 99 or either basta highest score, no, because I can see nga you are following or you met the objectives and standard that I given or that I provided. But naa siya problem, no, kay naay mga disadvantages, no. If ang uban mo tanaw sa inyong grades, no, they would just say naka-follow ni siya sa standards, nakasunod ni siya sa objectives, no. It's because kanang naka-follow ka sa given objective nga gihatag sa imong teachers, no, and ang imong grades is naka-reflect sa imong attitude ug learning na natun-an, di ba? Dili siya mag-base from class to class. But naagyapon siya but, no, it's because those factors nga being discussed sa norm reference, no, might influence the entire class, no, like ilang mga performance mag-drop the entire class, diba, like it will cause, no, the students, no, will receive a lower grade, diba? That would be the reason nga magamay ang ilang mga grado, no, unless if ang ilang instructor maluoy sa ila and maghatag sa ila special nga activities nga ilang i-comply to make their grades kanang mudako-dako pod. The second problem in criterion reference grading is it doesn't select the best students, no, because they're just basing if naka-follow ba ka sa standard or naka-follow ba ka sa objectives, na wala na ilang basihan, na ba, and wala na ilain. So that's why they cannot choose, no, they cannot select who is the best ng mga students in class. And the advantage of the system is this allows students man jud pod, no, to take some responsibility in doing their task, diba, to perform. And even though some students are working below their potential, it usually inspires students, no, to work, no, for a high grade. The instructor will face a lot of students having a high grades, no, and some view this as a problem. But if your view is a positive or negative, it will always depend, no, on the individual philosophy. That's why if you will be asked by this question, it should be like grades should reflect, but first would be the individual absolute achievement level, so that he or she may know her level of understanding as well as what level he or she is based on the same class. Now we will be proceeding to question number 2, which is should grades reflect achievement only or non-academic components such as attitude, speed, and diligence? It is a very common practice to incorporate such things as turning assignments on time into overall grade as a course. Primarily because the need to motivate students to get their work done is a real problem for instructors. Okay, so kita as students, no, andan na nato na mag-turn in sa tong assignments, sa tong activities, mga projects on time. Because we know that would be part of our overall grade, no? But there are some students man dyan, no, na adjapon sila, na kalang need sila i-push, need japon sila istoryahan para ma-motivate sila, di ba? Para mabuhat nila ilang mga trabaho na, and that could be a big problem, no? Because instructor is making it hard, no, unsaon pag-motivate sa students. And it is appropriate, no, that grades can reflect such values, timeliness, and diligence, no, because it add the competence in the material. And there are problems now of the instructors, which is it makes grades even more ambiguous than they already are, no? And it is very difficult to assess this nebulous trait accurately and consistently. So, instructors should use real caution when incorporating such value judgment into a final grade assignment. It's hard to assess inani ng mga traits now. That's why instructor must use real caution now when incorporating final grades. And we have here 2 steps instructors should take. The first step should be to make students aware of this possibility well in advance of grade assignment, and to make it clear what behavior is included in such qualities are prompt completion of work and neatness or completeness. That's why it's really important, no, that a student should be aware in advance the possibility of the grade assignment, and understood, no, what behavior is related in such qualities, no, para mahanay ang ilahang grado. That's why grades should be able to reflect, no, both even if non-academic components such as attitude, speed, and diligence, no, which is very difficult to measure, no. The teacher should be able to incorporate or give fixed criteria that can be measured. Now let's proceed to question 3. Should grades report status achieved or amount of growth? This particularly difficult question to answer. In many beginning classes, the background of students is also varied, that some students can achieve the end objectives now with little or no trouble, while others with weak backgrounds will work twice as hard and still achieve only half as much. Yes, exactly, no. And we, no, both students has different abilities. Na ay mga fast learners, na ay mga slow learners, no, like the fast learners could achieve, no, the objectives, no, with little or no trouble, no, while ang uban na ay mga kanang grabe ang tuuna, grabe ang lang pagpaningkamot, but at the end they will still get half, no. Like this dilemma results from the previous questions. It should be rewarding or a punishing effort. If dito man gyud ta mag-focus sa mga na-achieve nila, no, like kanang mga fast learners, no, mas naka-benefits, and the slow learner is disadvantage kaayo, no, like kay dili sila maka-achieve sa objectives nga sa mga improvements sa ilahan, no, like each students baya are having their own way, no, o unsaon nila pag-progress, no, para ma-achieve nila ang katong ilang mga desired grade, no, para makuha lang to nila. They're trying their best, no, para ma-achieve to. And if you're going to base it in growth, no, it has a lot of problems, no, because it is the measurement for change, no, and mostly it related to statistical mga artifacts, no, which means mga error or mga bias na pag-measure or pag-grado. That's why there are a lot of cases, no, and very listed to argue against change of growth, no, as a basis of grading. That's why in this case growth is disastrous. But even though in that kind of situation there are people na paboraan nga way, no, of making grades, because for the purpose, no, to encourage students, no, to be responsible and hardworking, diba? And also knowing and showcasing their different potential and abilities. It's just so sad, no, that there is no easy answer to these questions. That's why each instructors should review his or her own philosophy, no, to determine if the grade is exact or valid. Okay, like if you're going to ask this question, it should be like it can be both, no, like in cards given at school, no, it has grades from first grading to fourth, no, which both shows that the status achieved or the current grade and the amount of growth, no, if you compare it to the other grades of the previous grading period. Now let's proceed to the last question, which is how can several grades on diverse scales combine to give a single mark? Based on the book, no, like the basic answer is that they can't really. The results of instruction are so varied that the single mark is really a rough gauge as far as indicating what student has achieved. Okay, so ang basic nga answer daw is dili jud nila mahimo, no? Like based sa libro, the results of instruction is different, no? And every grade is nagpasabot sa nahimo sa bata. No, and it's more desirable, no, because we can give good grades, no, like one on a variety of skills nga ilahang na learn. But there is a problem to solve, no, like maka-complicate siya samot sa mga task na complicated na daan, and the overall performance which is good, no, is maka-apekto siya sa uban, no, and ang kanang mga outsiders na mga tao, no, before na sila mag-judge sa ilang nakita na performance, no, dapat na nag-consist na siya og overall nga classification, di ba? Aya pa sila makatawag na ay best na siya kay maayo siya musayaw, best na maayo siya taekwondo, best na siya kay maayo siya sa science, best na siya kay maayo siya sa math, no, and other nga mga variety skills nga ilahang matun-an. So ang gigamit ani nga system is dapat one mark lang, no, and ang sundon, di ba, or ang ihatag, no. That's why naa dapat ways, no, on how to give a single mark, no, in an easy way, even though we can say nga that system is dili siya justify as a legit ang tubag. Okay, so in conclusion, no, the my answer for those question number 4 is we cannot combine diverse skills that are unmatched, no, like combining the singing skills to dance skills, diba, like because they are they different, no, like maybe if there are skills, no, a bit similar, it could be possible, no, to combine them. Okay, that would be the end for my report. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something. And for my assessment, you have just going to answer this and send it on my messenger. Thank you very much, and God bless.